Hello and welcome to another episode of the Best You interview series. It's Gary here again. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to tune in. And today I'm joined by Lisa Dalton, who is the owner and founder of the Dalton Training Academy, which specializes in guiding insurance agents to achieve their highest potential. With over
Yes.
20 years' experience in the industry, Lisa has a wealth of knowledge and insights to share, particularly on the topic of breaking into the US federal market for insurance, which is, I am told, a hidden gem in the industry. Lisa's journey started from Lisa's journey in starting her own training academy to become a leader in her field is both inspiring and motivational, which is what we're going to talk about today, and including the challenges that she has faced and the strategies that she has used to overcome those strategies. Lisa, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today. I'm really looking forward to learning from you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward as well.
This is going to be really interesting today. You know, most of the training and mentorship that I have always says you need to find your niche. You need to find, you can't help everyone do everything at every single time, and you really need to niche down. And when you and I were getting to know each other a wee bit prior to the recording, it was really the epitome of that, finding something that you do have a strong bond with, you do have strong experience in, and then using that for good to be able to enable other people. So let's get going by telling me a little bit just about the history and the current projects that you have ongoing for the Training Academy.
Yeah, so, we from the beginning, we started the training academy to be able to help agents or potential agents have, finite down that niche that you were talking about and actually have something where they're not all over the place trying to chase every, shiny marketing piece that comes in their email, or
Yeah,
their phone call, and really get it narrowed down to a model that will allow them to be successful. And if the harder they work at it, the more successful that they will be. So I had worked a federal market myself. I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, where was this my whole career? you know, because I did try to find, my niche, like, okay, I'm really good at this, but the environment's changing, the world's changing, everything's changing. I need something that I can work remotely, I can work from home. And we landed really in the federal space. And once we were there, I said, oh my gosh, I wish I did this 20 years ago. I'll never look back. and
yeah,
Dalton Training Academy was born in the sense of trying to help everyone. We had agents coming to us over and over and over, and we found that they really needed that help, that one-on-one. And the academy allows us to help in masses, really.
yeah. And is the academy all online? Is there any in-person presence for the training?
So we do have it's online. They're interactive videos. So they can interact with the videos. And then from there, they do get the opportunity if they want to go further. There's a subscription base where they can have group meetings, and ask all their questions because they're going to have more questions. And then also they have the opportunity for mentorship. I'm actually one of the mentors. We have several. If they really want to take all my experience, all my trials and tribulations, and not do those and get right to, okay, get me past all that stuff that I don't want to do and let me get to what I do want to do.
Yeah,
And that is to really like help people. That's what we're in this for, but also make a really good income with it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I love you're not backward at coming forward about saying this is a really good revenue generator. This is a really good opportunity. I wish I had these opportunities in the earlier stages of my career. When we were
Yeah.
chatting before, you had given me a little bit of your experience and background and the dues that you had to pay to get to the spot where you would be in a position to be able to help multiple people through your training. Can you give us a bit of a background of what
Sure.
your insurance history looked like?
Sure. Sure. So I was born, my insurance career started with mortgage protection. And that's literally if you take out a mortgage, you're bombarded with letters from 20 million people saying, please complete and return. We have to protect your mortgage. So you're getting that letter. You're like, great, I'm buying a lead. That's a lead. I'm buying it. And I call up and 12 other people also bought the same leads. So okay, well, I got in, I'm going to get in the house. You're driving around, those are the days of getting in the car pre-COVID. You're driving 2 hours to get to someone's house. And here I, as a female, driving late at night, you know, letting everybody know where I am, when I'm going to be home, saying, "Oh God, let me eat before I go. Let me get my water." So, and I'm
Yeah.
going into a stranger's house, and I'll never forget the one house I went into, and it was literally a hoarder from, it looked like from one of those episodes. And I'm like, oh gosh, well, I'm here, So, and he's like, if you don't mind sitting in the center, I'm like, okay. And it was the center of magazines, a circle piled up to the ceiling. It had at least be 9 foot ceilings, and I'm in, and the whole time I'm doing my presentation, and all I'm thinking is, okay, so if they grab me, can I climb over these magazines fast enough? And I'm like, there's not enough room up top for me. I mean, this is the things that were going through my mind. And I did made the sale because at this point I'm not leaving because I'm here. I'm gonna make the sale, but I left there like, oh, there's got to be something else. So the mortgage market, crashed. We all remember that. Everybody, it was done. There weren't mortgages. Well, great, there's my leads. So everyone from mortgage protection went into final expense. That's it. So, you see the commercials on TV, $10,000 premiums for your loved ones. And you're like, great. And then somebody calls, a senior will call. Again, purchase those leads because leads are expensive, but what are you going to do? And I was like, oh, this is great until it's not. And then they were sending me out. I was in the projects of Newark, New Jersey, um, going into a tenement house, and I'm knocking on the door, and I'm like, hi, I'm here for your TV ad from insurance. And when he opened up the door, clouds of, I don't know what this smoke was. I've never smelled it before, yeah, I don't know what it was. And I walk in, they're like, sit down. And I'm looking around. I'm like, you don't have a television. So how did I get this TV lead? And that was really uncomfortable. That one I didn't sell. I left really fast. I was very nervous there. And I just remember calling my manager, just, oh, heck no, I'm not doing this anymore. So, I kind of evolved with the times,
Yeah.
and we had to. This was my career. I had to find something. And a colleague of mine was like, called me up and he's like, Lise, I'm doing the federal market. And I'm like, what? What is that? I'm always interested. And he got me introduced to it. And like I said, I would never go back. It was so amazing. Why didn't I get into this 20 years ago? It would have really saved myself some precarious situations that I was in.
Yeah,
And
so
so many.
it comes absolutely it does, yeah, and it comes from your warm network, a colleague who gives an
Yes.
opportunity, which is a lot of times what makes the world go round at times, to give yourself opportunities that you might not already have had. The stories of going into houses. I used to be in registered social housing back home, 20 plus years ago in Scotland, and we were out in dark times and
Right.
alone, the females and the males, and some quite rough areas of Glasgow. And when I think about it now, if my son were to say, oh, I've got a job in social housing and I just walk around the projects, so to speak, each day, I'd kind of feel a bit nervous about that, to be honest.
I know, like what we do, and you look back, you're like, wow. I mean, I was in the trenches. Another client, like these are the main ones that always stick out to me. So I had a telemarketer and they booked me appointments. I'm like, okay, all right. Again, Newark, really bad area. I didn't realize as how bad until one of my clients who was a police chief said, I don't even send my officers down that area. And I'm waiting for my client. He's like, wait outside. So I'm in my car. It was a nice car I had, convertible, and I'm in the car and I'm like, and I'm thinking convertible because there wasn't a lot of protection. And I'm
Yeah.
in my convertible and people start circling around my car. And I'm like, oh no. So they didn't know who I was. I was like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do? Say I'm the insurance lady? I don't know. So I got in my car and I'm like, let me just circle around the block. I guess that looks suspicious because I circled around the next street and two vans came and stopped me. And literally, they call them the jump out boys because they literally jump out of the van, pulled me out of my car, like put me up against the car. I guess they thought that I was buying drugs. I don't know.
Right.
And they were in their SWAT uniforms. It looked like, and I was like, I'm just the insurance lady. And they're like, oh, sorry. And they left. And I just stood there like, first off, I felt so violated. You know,
Yeah.
I called my client up. I'm like, Juan, I'm going, goodbye. And that was it. I at that point, that was my last one. I'm not
Incredible.
leaving
Yeah.
my
So,
house.
oh yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that really comes out from your story for me is your ability to spot opportunities. This opportunity was
Mhm.
presented to you, as we discussed very
Yes.
briefly just there. So what strategies do you typically use to spot opportunities that other people might overlook?
Well, I mean, you have to, one of the strategy, you have to be willing to bend with the times. I
Yeah,
know again, colleagues that just stick with it and it doesn't mean you change your career. You know, I kept my career in insurance, but I do need to be able to change up with what is going on. The mortgage crisis, that was terrible. I
yeah,
know a lot of people that went out of business with that. And then COVID, look how many people went out of business. And when you notice, look at all the people who stayed in business and actually flourished. So you
yeah,
have to be willing to say, okay, let me readjust. I was going along one way and I was doing really, really well. And then, something out of my control changed that. And I can either, go in the corner and cry, I could lose everything, or I'm going to come out swinging. And that's what I do. I come out swinging. So,
yeah, yeah.
you know,
I can tell. I can feel
oh,
the I can feel
no.
the kind of coming out swinging energy in your answer. So networking, as again we chatted about earlier,
Yes.
that played a big role in this. I would be interested to be able to speak to your colleague that was originally in federal, who decided I'm just going to chat to Lisa here just in case she wants to know about this. It doesn't feel like there was any competitive withholding of information. It was
No.
it's some sort of abundance that seemed to exist at that particular point. But in terms of networking in general and how you approach networking, like how do you do that? How purposeful is your networking, and do you have any guidance or advice for the listeners on that?
So one thing, as you said, with a colleague, one, never burn a bridge. I mean, that's, if you're in an industry, insurance, real estate, mortgage, anything along, finance, things happen, who you're not working well today might be your partner tomorrow.
Yeah,
So I always took that to heart in my career. I've been in this career for many years. It's a very small industry, even though it's so large, and I never burn a bridge. And that colleague, we have friendly competition. And years ago, we were competitors. And we stayed in touch. We stay in touch on Facebook. I see him going to trips. I see him going, living a nice lifestyle, and he was willing to share it. And I know a lot of my colleagues are that way, and I'm the same way. Like, I'm building something. I'm not greedy. I want to show it to you how to build something. That's part of the training academy.
yeah,
Um, and my networking is very purposeful. And, somebody asked me what I do, I'm going to tell them this is what
yeah,
I do. How did I get here? This isn't a pipe dream. I worked hard. You know, and even inside my mentor program, as I say, I show you what not that you don't have to do what I had to do for so many years to get to this point. I'm going to give you the shortcut to it. And I'm a firm believer in surround yourself by like-minded people who are on the same mission as you. And I know there's a couple memes out there on that, but I really take that to heart, you know. And if you're not on the same mission, I'm gonna, do everything that I can in the way that I live, in the way that I act, in the way I treat you, that you're gonna say, maybe her mission's okay.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's really important to me. And I want everyone to do well. That's
yeah.
why not?
Yeah, definitely. And it sounds like there's a lot of intention in there in,
Yes.
in terms of your network, that there are, cliche sayings out there. Your net worth is based on your network, and
Yes,
you can have different networks, of course, in different facets of your life, and professionally is the one that we're talking about mostly today, and your level of consistency, your level of ability to, understand that someone who's not quite right of a fit today might be the right fit tomorrow. So it doesn't mean they get completely discarded,
right.
if there is potential opportunity there, but they're just not all rowing in the same direction with you today. And not a lot of people do that. Lisa, if you look at a lot of people, you see this random collection of, if I could say misfits, that are kind of attached. And you're kind of wondering, like, how does that serve you? Most of the time it doesn't if they're trying to accomplish great things,
Right, right.
you
And I
know?
and they say the cream rises to the top. I mean, there's a reason that that saying is there. And I, for me, I actually taught insurance. I love insurance. So, I mean, I taught it. You have to really love insurance to teach it.
Yeah,
And I would see students come in and out of the classroom and come in and out of the classroom. And I could usually spot like, all right, they're going to do really well. That one's not. And I found that it was the ones with the drive and the yearning and the eagerness to learn, those were the ones that I look back years later and they're very successful.
yeah,
And, with our training academy, I mean, it's there for you. I remember doing one show and the question was like, what's the catch? The catch is you, you're
yeah,
not even what's the catch, what's the hook? The hook is you're going to either stay on the hook that you're going to be successful or you're not, that's you. I can just show you what I've done and I can talk to you from experience. I didn't just come out of left field with it.
yeah.
I worked this and worked this and worked this to perfect it to where I can teach it and know you're going to be successful. And if you're not, I can pretty much narrow down why not, and let's
Yeah.
fix it.
Yeah.
And I feel strong with that.
And it's great to have that educational background as well. There's the old adage that people who can't do teach, and I like to laugh at that because
Yeah.
I've taught project management for 20 plus years. Project management was my mainstay career until I changed over to doing what I'm doing now. And I still continue to teach project management because it's something that's close to my heart and certainly has transferable skills across a number of industries. And all the observations that you had of students there, I had the exact same circumstance and situation. And I would sit them down, en masse or maybe individually, but mostly just as a collective unit within the classroom and say you've already differentiated yourself because you're here.
Right.
A lot of other people are practicing or are they have a good intent, but it's not really coming to anything in terms of fruition of their own personal or professional development. You're here. Now, some of them would say, my boss told me I had to be here. I'm going to get fired if I don't get
Right.
better at this. But for the most part, they were already doing something different to other people, and that there was just the entry level. And then you can start to build from that the general level of interest, competence, drive, excitement, talent, skills, and maybe topping that
Right.
off with the experience that they had to date. So, what was that teaching, the experience that you had? Essentially the main foundational inspirational factor to get the training academy to be so specific to what it is today.
Oh, absolutely. So that teaching background gave me the experience. It actually made me a better advisor
Right.
because if I could take a room of 30, 40 students and had to convey information and make sure each one absorbed it enough to pass tests for the
Mm.
state and everything, to be able to sit one-on-one with a client and teach something, and show them what I have to offer. Because most salespeople, you go in front of a client and you're like, ta-da, I'm on stage, and like,
Yeah.
listen to me, and you change that that's easy, but now put it over the phone. How do you do that?
Yes.
But now you're not in person anymore. So teaching to those students really allowed me to hone my skills as an advisor. And the better I get as being an advisor, the better I can teach someone else to be that great advisor. But you need to be armed. Okay, what are
Yeah.
you advising on? And with the training academy, especially if targeting in on the federal market, now you have the tools, you have the armor to say, okay, all right, I have something to show you. And not only show you, I'm going to teach you why you need it.
Mm.
And that really is the premise to our entire course is teaching. So, there's old saying, telling is not selling,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right? Because I could tell you how great it is, but if I teach you how great it is, it's so
Yeah.
much better for you as a student, and then also for you as an advisor to the client. So
Yeah.
we really do take that to heart. And it's ongoing teaching, ongoing. We don't just like leave you like, okay, you took our course, see ya. you know, you know,
Yeah.
great. Now, you have 20 years experience in there. No, we keep teaching you because it's a reflection of how good we are. How good you are means that's how good we were showing you.
Yes.
And we take that to heart.
Yeah.
I
Um,
hope everyone's multimillionaires. That's amazing. Good. I'm glad. I want to get you there.
yeah. It's an incredible approach to that because that there's a lot of people I've come across over the years who have a desire to teach and a
Hmm.
desire to educate without really truly understanding what that means, and then genuinely without the passion to go above and beyond for the educational experience. And many times when I was teaching other people someone else's curriculum, that the institution has created this curriculum. Sometimes I created it on my own, but it was still the institution that owns the curriculum. And
Right.
and a lot of times, the time was so finite that I would use this line. I would say, look, I'm going to be able to tell you the what. I'm going to be able to tell you what this is, and I'll give you a little bit of the how, but the how is something that you're going to have to take away and practice on your own. And that always felt just a little bit empty, Lisa, to the point where I'm kind of like, I just kind of about got them to the water. I just didn't get the best opportunity to tell them how to drink it, and had a bit of dialogue with students afterwards, but that wasn't the framework that we were educating. And so that was a wee bit of inspiration for me myself to be able to
Mhm.
say, for future educational offerings that I'm solely responsible for, you won't leave without, the ability to be able to do what it is I'm telling you to do through experience,
Ex-
through practice, through tools, through methodologies, through dialogue, whatever that looks like. So just that probably that a caution for the listeners, to when you're going for further education or self-development, offerings, whatever it is you're investing your time in, I think what you said earlier, Lisa, is absolutely sage. Like, this is literally what you will get. Ask your providers, what am I going to get? What am I going to be able to do once I leave this place? Some places would say you're going to be ready to write the exam. Some places will say we'll guarantee we'll support you through the exam and then your ongoing offerings as well. So yeah, just that little caution or word of wisdom from educators here to say, know and understand what you're signing up for to prevent any potential disappointments down the line.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. I mean, the other thing too is like it's Dalton Training Academy. My name's associated with that. My
Yeah,
family's name. I'm here. Our face is around. We're here. We're real. We're accessible. My co-founder Anthony, that's my son. We're,
yeah,
we are here to not just say, okay, take another course, like you said, because there's a lot that goes to it. Somebody signs up for a course. I know my material, just like you said, somebody's giving you material. But what you don't know is the level and the mentality and where that person is that's
yeah,
signing up for the course. And that kind of started our sponsorship. Our mentors, and then we have other groups that will help sponsor even as well. And then our mentorship program for that is like, okay, so that's going to be that other person who says, okay, but I need you there with me every step of the way. And we offer that because we realize, well, you may, again, depends, where are you coming from? What's
yeah,
your are have you tried other things and it just didn't work? Are you, eager to just add another tool to your, sales tool belt, whatever it may be. And so even our subscription program, you have us there. It's every week we're there. Log in, come on, our face is on here on a meeting and start chatting away, ask questions, whatever your experience is, that you have and that you need help with. So
yeah.
we want you successful, and you will be.
And it's such a brilliant ability to be able to feed back into the community as well, because
Yeah.
as you said earlier, going with the flow, adjusting with the times and making sure that you're growing as the industry adapts and develops, you have that opportunity to know that you're giving back to the community and getting these nuggets from people who are out in the world and having different experiences than the rest of us, and being able to absorb that and use that for good going forward. So, in terms of the challenges that you faced getting yourself to this point, really going niche down into the federal market, creating a specific training program, to supplement examination requirements, and then an ongoing community. What are some of the main challenges that you faced personally as you were developing this?
Well, the biggest one is I'm a perfectionist. So I kept doing the course and doing the course, and it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. It wasn't, so for
Yeah,
me, I knew the information that I wanted to put out there and I wanted it perfect. And I
yeah,
know, perfection is it's a tough goal. Um, so it took a really long time to do it, but I wanted to have a product that I was really proud of, to
yeah.
say, okay, somebody's paying their hard-earned money to say, okay, I want to listen to this person. I want to listen to this course. I want to follow what they say. So that was really important for me. Um, Finding a great platform, having it be easy, not have it just be, where it's like, okay, here you go. I've seen some courses that are very boring. The
Mm,
platforms aren't easy to use. And then also inside our platform too, there's a community. So we really wanted to make sure that, everyone could ask each other questions if they need to and help each other and be very supportive. Um, so that was hard. I knew the information. It was in my head,
yeah,
and getting to where, collaborating with my son and really working it and then having it tested out and people asking questions and then being able to take that criticism and all right, well, we're going to have to change it and really make it enjoyable.
yeah,
Taking something that's factual and numbers and making it something that you're excited about.
yeah. Yeah, and how much of that would you say is storytelling? I loved your stories from earlier, that there is a common understanding out there that you remember stories more than you would remember facts and data and such.
Right.
Do you have a compelling story component?
Some of it though, we have to, in teaching federal benefits, you have to be pretty precise.
Mhm,
I think it's more inside our platform is, okay, how can you make money on this?
mhm,
Here's a great opportunity. Here's a spot where you're going to make money. So we really took, my experience of being out in the field where there's agents that really try that federal market. They're lost. And I know because they've come to us and I had to undo all the things they were taught incorrectly and they just don't know like how do you make so much money in that. I mean, there it is. And I gave like every spot of it like, okay, here's your opportunity, here's your opportunity, here's your opportunity throughout the entire course. Let's expand on that. Here's your sale, here's the sale. And I've had people go through the course and say, all right, you know what, I understood the benefits, I knew there was this federal market, but I was afraid of the federal market.
mhm.
I was afraid to sit across from an employee who's been there 30 years and probably knows their benefits better than I do.
Yeah,
And that fear is gone. And you also showed me, okay, I'm not just sitting there helping with the benefits. I actually can make a really good living at this. And
yeah,
here's how.
yeah,
So that's what I really wanted to convey inside the course. You
yeah,
know, I really tried to put it to the person taking the course, go and say, okay, Gary, here's your sale, there's your money, go get it,
yeah,
so that's what we really focused on.
yeah. And it does sound that there's, while you are constrained with the teachings that you have to provide,
Right.
that community component part does give you the opportunity to say, as you said, here is the opportunity. Here is how you could potentially approach that with this particular niche or problem or person or a regulation that you're trying to navigate within to add that level of realness
Mhm.
to a reality, to the actual experience that they're having as well. I mean, it sounds like an absolutely incredible offering for people that have a level of interest. Now, one of the things that you mentioned at the beginning was for people who are either licensed and practicing insurance professionals or people who are thinking of doing that. Is that a two-stage or two-tier type of educational path that they can take within the training academy?
So learning the benefits are the same no matter either way, but in order to be able to really talk about it, talk it, you need your insurance license. And we do have a partnership with a top company that offers license. And if you come through our course, they give I believe it's 55% discount inside there, which is
Wow.
amazing for you to get licensed. You could do licensing online now. You could really be licensed within 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a lot faster than it used to be.
Yeah.
Used to have to take the course for weeks and then go sit at a place, and everything is online now.
Yeah.
So if you use our code and you go through us, you'll get that great discount. Um, and for those that are experienced, even if they're experienced inside the federal, unless they're writing what our students are writing in premium, they really need to take the course, because they may know one aspect of it, but they don't know those other little spots of, okay, where do I write? Where's my sale opportunity? Where is it? Because they're just missing the education on the benefits.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
And it's back to the continuous development, the continuous self-development, that your
yeah,
ability to be able to kind of know and understand how the market, how the industry is developing, how it's moving with the times. Even just the perfect example of, everything's online now. You can do all of this from the comfort of wherever it is you decide to do it. So before we wrap up today, I'd like to get a wee bit more information about how people can find you, and where we can put the details in there. But before we get to that particular point, what does the future look like for Dalton Training Academy? Do you have any ideas in the works that you can share today?
well, we started with the federal program. It's our Blueprint to Success is the program inside that. And then we're just developing the program more and more and more. Um, you know, Sales tips, techniques that are tried and proven. We have amazing contacts with lead vendors that are tried, tested, that we actually would recommend. So we have that. We're actually coming across with Agency in a Box. That's our next adventure. I've run agencies throughout my career, and I can teach you to run a very successful agency throughout the times. No matter what happens, my agencies, I've always been number one.
Yeah,
Um, I like to compete. So
yeah,
I don't know who I'm competing against myself. So we're working on that. I'm really excited about that coming out. That's going to be, so this way somebody, you can say you wanted to take the program, and you're an entrepreneur and you want to have agents that are underneath you,
yeah,
and you want to build a team, and say you want 20 agents, sometimes that can be overwhelming. Our Agency in a Box is going to teach you that, plus you get mentorship with it. um, Again, learning all the ins and outs of what you don't want to do,
yeah,
and getting to what just works, of
yeah,
years of experience. So we're really excited about rolling that out. So that's going to be next. So you can start. So sky's the limit. Open
yeah,
10 agencies, whatever it is you want to do, we're here to help you.
yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love just the whole theme of giving back to the industry that's served you so well throughout
It
your
has.
career.
Yes.
And even more so in terms of the importance of the ongoing community, the importance of the ongoing mentorship, the importance of, when you leave here, yes, you are better equipped to be able to do whatever it is you came here to do. But if you let it wane, if you don't continue to pay attention, if you don't continue to feed, the education that you've been given thus far, the chances are it could wane and be less effective in the future, which is why, coming back, being engaged in the mentorship, being engaged in the community, giving back and receiving from the growth that yourself and others are experiencing is so key. And it's such a theme for most of the progressive organizations that I pay attention to this year.
Yes.
So congratulations and good for you for really going all in on that. That's been a key
Thank you.
theme from today.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So, where can people find out more about Dalton Training Academy?
Well, you can go to our website, www.daltontrainingacademy.com. We are on TikTok, Instagram. We're all over social media, Facebook. So you can reach out in every area and we would be more than happy to assist you.
Wonderful. Excellent. Lisa, thank you very, very much for
Thank
joining me
you.
today.
Thank you.